All right, let's talk about a huge question for any small business owner. When something breaks, are you just slapping a band-aid on it, or are you actually looking under the hood to figure out why it broke in the first place? We're going to dig into the difference between fixing symptoms and fixing the system itself.
Okay, be honest. Does this sound like your life? Your day is just a blur, right? You're jumping from call to email to putting out yet another fire. The team is running on fumes, you're putting in crazy hours, but when you finally get a second to breathe and look up, the business isn't really going anywhere. You're busy, for sure, but are you actually growing?
Yeah, if that hits home, you're probably stuck in a really common trap. It's like you're playing a game of business whack-a-mole. A problem pops up, you smack it down. Another one, smack it down. But you're so busy hitting the moles, you never stop to ask, hey, who's plugging this machine in? Why do these things keep popping up?
There's a name for this, actually. We call it the small business treadmill. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You're running, you're sweating, you feel like you're going a million miles an hour, but you look around and you're in the exact same spot you were yesterday.
So what does being on this treadmill feel like? Well, it's that constant firefighting, every single day. It's that nagging feeling of déjà vu. Wait, didn't we just deal with this late order problem last month? The same issues just keep circling back, maybe wearing a slightly different disguise. You end the day completely wiped out, but you can't point to one big thing you actually accomplished. And the biggest red flag of all? Your growth has just stalled.
Okay, so the good news is you are not doomed to stay on this treadmill forever. There is a way off. And it comes from this really cool concept dug up in a Walden University study called double loop learning. Seriously, this is a game changer. It's all about shifting how you even think about your business's problems.
So let's break this down. Think about it like this. Single loop learning is basically your thermostat. It asks one simple question. Are we doing things right? If the room gets too cold, boom, the heat kicks on. Problem, solution. Simple. But double loop learning, it asks a much smarter question. Are we doing the right things? It doesn't just automatically turn on the heat. It looks around and says, wait a second. Is the window open? Is this room even insulated properly? It questions the entire setup.
See, at its core, this isn't just about tweaking what you do. It's about questioning why you do it. You're challenging the unwritten rules, the old policies, the "this is how we've always done it" mentality. It's the difference between your sales team memorizing a new script and asking, hold on, are we even talking to the right people? This is how you stop just patching holes and start building a business that's actually built to last.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But what does it look like in the real world? Well, that Walden University study went deep on one specific business, and what they uncovered is pretty fascinating. So, let's meet our case study. We'll call them NK. This is a small, family-owned business in the natural hair care space. They make great products, offer specialized services, they're the real deal. Super passionate, they know their stuff, and they've got this loyal community that just loves them. So the researchers came in and did a classic SWOT analysis. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. And what they found was this really weird conflicting picture. On the one hand, their strengths were off the charts. Amazing products, a team that knew everything. But then you look at the weaknesses, and yikes, big, glaring holes in really basic stuff, like how they handled their finances and their social media.
So you're looking at this and thinking, okay, great products, people love them, they must be crushing it, right? And from the outside, it totally looks that way. But, and this is a big but, as the researchers started digging deeper into the actual data, things got weird. A totally different story started to emerge.
Check this out. First, look at the positive stuff. On Google, a whopping 81% of their reviews are 5 stars. Awesome. Over on Facebook, 88% of people recommend them. If you're the owner, you're looking at this and you are popping the champagne, right? This is single loop paradise. The numbers are telling you you're doing great. But then you look at Yelp, and it's like a horror movie. Get this, a shocking 49% of their Yelp reviews were 1 star. Nearly half. What is going on here? Same company, same products, same team, but one group of customers is having a 5-star experience and another is having a 1-star nightmare. How is that even possible? This is the kind of thing that makes you go, okay, we need to dig deeper.
And this right here, this huge mystery, this is exactly where that double loop thinking comes in. It's the perfect tool for a puzzle like this because it forces you to stop just looking at the numbers and start playing detective to find the real diagnosis.
So your typical single loop reaction? Total panic mode. Oh my gosh, our Yelp score is terrible. We need more 5-star reviews. Quick, let's run a promotion.
But see, that's just treating the symptom. A double-loop thinker stops, takes a breath, and asks a much more powerful question. Hold on, why are our customers having such wildly different experiences? What's broken in our system that's causing this?
And the first clue started to show up when they looked at the company's own strategy documents. They had these big, beautiful goals written down, you know? Things like quality, visibility, accessibility. It all sounded great. But when you looked at their actual action plan, it was super vague. And here's the kicker. There was literally no system to check if they were even doing any of it.
Let's just take one of their big goals, visibility. Sounds important, right? Well, when you actually look at the data, their social media activity has completely fallen off a cliff. We're talking a drop of more than 45% in just a couple of years. So the goal was on paper, but the system for actually posting content, for being visible, it was totally broken. They wanted one thing, but their actions, or lack thereof, were doing the complete opposite.
And that, right there, was the diagnosis. The problem wasn't bad products. It wasn't that they didn't care. The business was being strangled by a total lack of systems. No system to listen to customers. No system to track their own goals. And maybe most importantly, no system to share what the owner knew with the rest of the team.
So with that diagnosis in hand, the study lays out a really clear 3-step prescription to help this business, and really any business, get off that treadmill for good. And these are things you can start thinking about literally today.
Okay, step 1. Systematize your feedback. Stop just waiting for reviews to pop up. Build a simple, repeatable process. Maybe it's a super short survey that goes out after every purchase. Just get a consistent pulse on what your customers are really thinking. Step 2. Create a live dashboard. And look, this doesn't need to be some fancy software. A simple shared spreadsheet that tracks your main goals is perfect. It just puts everything out in the open and keeps everyone accountable. And finally, step 3. Build a knowledge-sharing plan. Your business is incredibly vulnerable if all the important info is stuck in one person's brain. Start writing down your key processes. It makes your business stronger and ready to scale.
And the study really hammers this point home. It says, and I'm quoting here, by integrating learning into their culture, the leadership team gains insight beyond the symptoms of the problem and develops and executes changes that target the root cause. In other words, when this becomes just how you do things, you finally stop chasing symptoms and start building a business that actually grows.
So let's leave it with this final, crucial question for you and your business. The next time a problem hits your desk, and you know it will, just pause for a second. Before you jump in to fix it, ask yourself this. Am I just putting out another fire for today, or am I using this problem to build a fireproof business for tomorrow? Seriously, the answer to that question might just change everything.